The leftist thugs in Portland, Oregon have finally accomplished their first murder. They've been working at it for almost 100 days. And now, oh, by the way, let me just advise people. The Black Lives Matter thugs and the Antifa thugs that have been roaming through Portland and terrorizing citizens and businesses, they're like 95% pasty white. Okay, so let's just get that clear for starters. To my knowledge, none of the attempted murders have been caused by anybody other than pasty white, feral men and some feral women too. Okay, so this 48-year-old pasty white Antifa member with BLM tattooed on his neck is well known to police. He has been roaming the Portland streets with a rifle for 3 months. It's not legal for him to own a rifle because he has criminal charges pending. He may even have a criminal record. I don't know. But that's been allowed. The DA won't, DA allows that. They won't allow the police to take the gun away from him. And he had his first chance to murder, to target and execute somebody that's on the that he disagrees with politically. This man and another man were walking down the street in the evening. They were wearing hats that apparently had Patriot prayer symbols on them. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And he noticed that. He targeted. He shouted, "Oh, we got one." Or a group of thugs, somebody shouted, "We got one. Here's one." And 2 shots rang out, and the one fella, well, he died immediately. He was probably dead before he hit the ground. Okay, police know who this is. He's very familiar to them. There's been no arrest so far, and here it is. Well, this happened on Saturday. Today's Wednesday. There's been no arrest. Patriot Prayer is an organization that was created and developed, whatever you want to call it, established in Vancouver about 5 years ago as a countermeasure the leftist protests and rioting that's been going on in Portland since 2014, on and off. And now it's been every night since the end of May. Okay, they've tried hard to murder people. 2 weeks ago, a perfectly innocent man was driving through some part of Portland, and he noticed that the thugs were beating up a trans woman. So he got out to help her, and then he had to run back into his truck, and they grabbed him, got him to the ground, and beat the pulp out of him. Attempted murder, but he's alive. And to my knowledge, they're only charging one person, not the dozen or so that were caught on camera. About sometime in July, a black journalist was stabbed on camera by a pasty white Antifa thug. And I think he was charged, but I'm not sure. But this man almost died. And then about 2 weeks after that, there was a mass murder of 25 people, attempted mass murder of 25 people, 25 employees who were barricaded inside, or they trapped them. The thugs trapped them inside the police precinct. This wasn't even in downtown Portland. This was out in the rural areas, the residential area of Portland. And this was a police station, but most of the employees inside weren't even police. They were dispatchers and clerks and so forth. And they trapped them inside and set the building on fire. Now, nobody died, but there were dozens of them that were involved in this. They arrested one man. And here we go. Wait for it. He's already copped a plea. Now, the legal process doesn't work that fast, but they let him cop a plea, and they gave him 3 years probation. Let that sink in a minute. Attempted mass murder of 25 people, and he's free to roam the streets again. Downtown Portland is a shell of its former self. it'll go the way of the Watts riots. The Watts district of LA still has not come back to its former glory following the 1965 Watts riots. Well, that's where Portland is. Businesses have moved out. They're renting. They're giving up their leases, and they're moving. If there's any business left, if they've got a business to move, they're moving it out. I am personally acquainted with 7 people that are in the process of moving their homes, just getting out. It's too dangerous. It's just way too dangerous in the Portland area. And our Marxist governor, who I went to law school with, yesterday she announced that she would keep the economy locked down until November 3rd. November 3rd, the election day. That's a threat. That's a threat. If Trump is reelected, she'll keep the economy locked down indefinitely. If Biden is elected, she'll open it up immediately, and there will be no need. We don't have to worry about COVID if Biden's elected. We never really had a COVID problem. But there we are. Portland, the downtown Portland will never come back. Not for decades. And maybe it's just as well. It's been a liberal hellhole since the Democrats took over decades ago. Thank you for listening.